Welcome to Agers in Condition. I'm Margaret Hoffman, the owner. Today's video is going to be on balance, and I have 4 balance myths that I want to share with you, and I want to debunk these myths for you. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you some good basic balance and mobility drills that you can actually do on your own in your home safely in order to get started on balance and mobility work now. Okay, so let's get started here. And here's myth number 1. I'm going to try to read these off and go through these quickly. Falling is a normal part of aging, but this is not true. It's not a normal part of aging, and it doesn't have to be. It just depends on what type of condition that you're in when you move into those golden years of like the 70s and 80s and 90s. And here's a tip I have for you, and I tell a lot of people this. Get in shape, do balance and mobility work in your 50s and 60s before you move into those golden years. Because I do not want you to be at a high risk for a fall in your 70s and 80s and 90s. Also think about this. I want you to have these 4 components built into, or actually I should say 5 components, built into your overall conditioning program or your exercise program. You're training for strength. You're training for power. Agers need to train for power. This is really important. And agers can train for power. And if you don't understand why we do this and how we do this, stay tuned because I'm going to be doing a video on power in the future here. All right? Do balance and mobility work. I want you to do cardiovascular conditioning. I want you to work on your heart and lungs like walking or riding a bike, okay? And I also want to make sure that you're working on your pliability and your flexibility now before, again, you age and get into those golden years. And in regards to strength, you might want to concentrate on these areas first. Make sure the feet and ankles are strong, your legs are strong, your quads are strong, your hips are strong, your glutes are strong, and you're strong in your core because these are areas that really affect our balance and mobility. You might want to concentrate on those areas first. All right, so let's move on to myth number 2. Poor balance is due to weak muscles. Well, weak muscles play a role, but it's not the main determining factor here. There's other things that come into play and can contribute to poor balance. And let me read these off really quickly. Our vision obviously plays a role. Hydration plays a role. This is a problem for many agers. They're not drinking enough water. And they can feel lightheaded, dizzy, and weak. Our vestibular system can play a role. What's going on in our ears, like our middle ear and our inner ear? The nervous system plays a role. Think about people that have neuropathy, and they can't feel the bottom of their feet, and they can't feel the surfaces that they're on. So you can see how that can play a big role in balance and can contribute or increase the risk for a fall. And also our posture and gait plays a role as well. Keep this in mind. This is really, really important. The number 1 way to decrease your risk for a fall right now is to get on a personalized, individualized program based on your needs and goals. And you would do that with someone like myself, a certified personal trainer, fitness professional that specializes in training the ager population. All right, so keep that in mind. Let's move on to myth number 3. You can't measure balance. This is definitely not true. We can measure balance in a variety of different ways. We have a lot of equipment and apparatuses out there in the health and fitness industry right now, and things that basically look like big scales that you can actually step on and do a variety of different drills, and we can get a really good determination on whether or not you're at a low risk for a fall or a high risk for a fall. Physical therapists can also take you through fall risk assessments, and personal fitness trainers like myself, personal trainers, I can actually run you through a battery of different types of balance and mobility drills when I'm doing a fitness assessment on a potential client, and I can get a good indication as well of what your fall risk is, okay? All right, so let's move on to myth number 4. Balance can be improved upon after a certain age. Well, this is definitely not true. Age is just not a factor here. You know, I've been training agers for 30 years now, and I have seen many, many agers, even the advanced aged over 90. And I've worked with many agers over 95, and I've seen them get strong. I've seen them improve their balance and mobility and feel more stable and confident up on their feet and decrease their risk for a fall. So that is false. Age is not an issue here in that regard. All right, so let's move on to some balance and mobility drills that you can do on your home, in your home now on your own. And let me get a quick drink before we dive into these. I'm just going to give you like 3 or 4 here. The first one is the stork stand. And you have probably heard this one before, and you might be doing stork stands now. This is a good basic drill where we can train the body how to operate on one leg, and I think this is actually very, very important. And I think about this a lot when I train my clients. So I want you to do this exercise in your kitchen so you can hold on to your kitchen sink so you're nice and stable. I do not want you to do a stork stand without holding on at all. You can hold on with 2 hands. You can lighten up your grip if you want to increase the balance demand, or you can increase the balance demand by holding on with 1 hand. But start off first holding on with 2 hands. Bring your feet relatively close together. They don't have to be touchy. And let's say we're going to do a stork stand on the left leg. So you're going to shift your weight over to the left leg, and then we're going to lift up the knee, the leg, and the foot on the right leg. You don't have to lift it up really high. Just bring it up off the floor. I want you to hold that position for like 10 seconds or 15 seconds and then see how you do with that. But if you're a real high-functioning, fit person, you're going to be able to hold that stork stand a lot longer, maybe with just 1 hand grip, okay? And then we can actually, and do both legs, all right? Switch and go to the other leg. But we can make this a little bit more difficult, and I'm going to give you a couple variations here. So instead of just lifting the foot up in the stork stand, what we're going to do is tap the toe down to the floor. So we're going to have this continuous tapping of the leg, which is going to increase the balance demands because we have the other leg, the other limb in motion. So you're going to be balancing on one leg and tapping the toe down to the floor, maybe like 10, 12, or 15 times, and see how you do with that. So that's stork stands with a tap. We have regular stork stands with just holding the leg up. Then we do stork stands with a tap. And then I make it a little bit more difficult by having a person tap their toe away from the body a little bit more. So they have to extend their leg out to the side and tap the toe away from the body. And again, that increases the balance challenge and the balance demand. And it's just some fun variations that you can do at home with the stork stand. Let's move on to another drill. This is sidestepping around a chair because it's really important for agers to be able to sidestep. We tend to lose this ability as we age, especially in the golden years or maybe over the years, over the year of 80, okay? So I want you to take a kitchen chair, a nice sturdy kitchen chair, move it somewhere in your home where there's a lot of room around it. And I just want you to start off maybe holding onto the chair lightly, and you're going to sidestep around the chair. And if you have to hold on to it the whole time, that's okay. But I don't want you walking around the chair. I want you to face the chair the entire time. So think about your belly button facing the chair the entire time. So you sidestep around the chair, go about 2 times around in one direction, and then sidestep 2 times around in the other direction. Again, hold on to the chair if you need to, or if not, just sidestep around it. So you have to sidestep in a circle, and it's a balance challenge, all right? So that's another good one that I really like to do with my agers. Now let me give you some things that you can do while you're walking or you're in motion, either walking forward or walking backwards with this. So find a hallway in your house, and I want you to walk down the hallway. So you're in motion, or what we call locomotion. You're in motion, and then I'm going to make you do another bodily movement, like turn your head side to side. So that's going to stress your balance and increases the balance demands. Moving our head is difficult for some people. Walking and moving their head or turning their head side to side is very difficult for a lot of agers because your vision is changing and you're moving your head. But it's also a very functional balance drill because it's an activity that we do a lot in our everyday life. We walk around our homes and our living spaces. We're turning our heads and we're looking up and we're looking down. So it's very functional. So try that. Walk down the hallway, turn your head side to side, turn around and come back and see how you feel doing that. And then we can layer in challenges as well. And we can layer in cognition to stimulate the brain more and to involve some brain training with these motions, with these walking movements or walking backward type of movements. And let me give you an example. I might have an ager walk down the hallway and turn their head side to side. But when they're doing that, I want them to tell me the street address that they grew up on when they were a child. So they have to do two things here. So we're layering in some activities. I'm increasing the balance demands. I'm adding in some cognition to get more brain training. They have to walk. They're in motion. They have a bodily part that's moving. All right. Then they have to think a little bit more and try to think about that address that they grew up on. So those are three different things there, and we get some brain training involved. Or I might have them walk down a hallway and just punch their arms side to side. This one I really like as well because we get rotation in the core, in the power center there. They got to be able to handle that. They're walking. They're punching across their body. And then I might add in that cognitive challenge. It's called dual tasking, by the way. We're adding in a cognitive challenging and training the brain as well. So they have to walk down the hallway. They got to punch across their body. And they have to yell out like all male names to me. Okay? Or I might have them walk down the hallway and flap their arms up and down, and they have to count backwards from 100 in increments of like 5 or 10. Those are pretty easy. But if we go to increments of like 6, then that's a little bit more difficult for them. So you can see how I layer in different types of movements, and then we dual task and add in the cognitive component. So they have to think, they have to move, and do all kinds of different fun movements. I have a lot of agers, march down the rail and do all different types of cognitive drills. I might have them do some heel kicks down the hallway or down a hallway holding on to a rail, like heel kicks or sidestepping or grapevine steps and so forth. So I think you get the gist of how we work and train balance and mobility, and we dual task to add in brain training as well. All right, so I'm going to end the video here. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and feel free to share it with others. And if you have any questions on anything, don't hesitate to get in contact with me via email. All right, thanks a lot, and you all have a good day. Bye-bye.